The World Truthful Day.
Victims of sexual and gender-based violence and other violations in the country have called on the government to compensate them for injustices meted on them.
They say that they have had to incur the cost of nursing scars of both emotional as well as physical violence over the years.
The victims, who convened in Nairobi, questioned the status of the 10 billion shillings reparation kitty established by former President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2015.
And it's Nancy Okware who puts that story in perspective.
Victims of various human rights violations came together to commemorate the International Day for the Right to Truth held in Nairobi. Survivors say they continue to nurse both physical and emotional scars of violation. Some who are survivors of sexual assault during the 2007 post-election violence and bore children from the assault now have children who are turning 17 years. Despite the years gone by, they are yet to receive compensation.
I was gang raped during the post-election period and I got a child out of it. It was not easy, but I'm here now. I'm here today. I've been advocating for the rights and for the rights of the survivors and justice for the survival of sexual violence of the post-election period.
That was violated, sexually violated, and then conceived and had a child from the violation. And then thereafter, I met with many other women because I participated in the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission process of seeking truth. And I met with very many other women and girls and men and boys who had been violated during the violence. All IDPs were resettled, that people whose barns were stolen or whose goods and cattle were stolen were compensated. But for sexual violence, nothing has been done.
The victims are also calling for the implementation of the recommendations of the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission.
And most important is the call for accountability, especially by all the state organs that are charged with the responsibility of promoting and protecting human rights.
In his speech delivered by Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga acknowledged the violations meted on Kenyan people over the years and the need to ensure justice is served.
I understand that a handful of victims have been in court since 2011 seeking justice and reparation. Even more disappointing is that whereas we hoped to draw a red line following the PEV experience, the same patterns of gross human rights violations continue today. I have been consistent and will continue to stand firm for the rights of victims to truth, justice and reparation.
I've tried the legal. Those survivors who've gone with me to court, you know we've won all the cases we filed. But none of you has been paid from those cases. So where's the problem? The problem is in the political system.
Punishment for the perpetrators, for me, is as important as compensation for the victims, because they were not supposed to have done that in the first place. And we must get to a point where we make examples of perpetrators of crime.
Those present called on the government to institute measures that will prevent further violation of human rights, citing the recent Gen Z demonstrations that led to loss of lives, injuries and abductions. Nancy Okware, Prime Edition.